To mark 5 years of the PowerPlayChess channel, I'm presenting a series of Magnus Carlsen's top 10 finishes, and in the last video I showed you this game between Magnus Carlsen and Predrag Nikolic from the Vikonsay tournament, and I showed how Carlsen switched his queen over into the corner. This is such a clever move, provoking a weakness in black's position. The game went like this. Now b4 and rook e1, and the king came to f7 to defend the bishop. Pawn hit the knight, and now I left you in this position and said, how did Carlsen play from here? So we've just seen he switched queen d1 to a1 a couple of moves ago, and in this position he played the queen back again. Not an obvious move to find, but this move is incredibly strong. The point is that white is threatening, well, white's threatening all kinds of things. Let me show you a couple of variations. In the game, black played his rook to e8, but let me show you this move first. Knight c4. Now this looks plausible to try and block this rook out of the game. In this case, white could play bishop to f5. Now that's a beautiful move. If that bishop is taken, now we can see one of the points of playing the queen to d1, because it can take the pawn on d5 check, and black's king is just getting cut to pieces here. Knight check followed by taking the bishop, and it's all over for the king. So after bishop f5, knight e5 to try and block the rook. Okay, but then we take here. Now we exchange knights and queen g4 check. So you can see how this queen has swung over beautifully to attack the king, and well, white's attack is going to crash through really easily in that case. Okay, so we've just played this move queen d1. What else is there? What about playing g6 to stop that idea of bishop f5? Okay, then knight g5 check. Of course that has to be taken. Now queen f3 check. Once again the queen swings over to attack the king. King g7. Now rook takes e6. And here, well, black's king is wide open. Moves like queen f6 check are threatened. I mean, this is completely winning for white. Oh, and there's also rook e7 check, of course, hitting king and queen. So black is just lost there. So in the game, black, after this move queen d1, black played rook e8 to defend this bishop. Now once again, knight g5 check, pawn takes, and now queen f3 check. The king came back, and after rook takes e6, black resigned. So just 3 moves after playing queen d1, black had to give up, and well, this is completely lost for black. Of course, if that rook on e6 is taken, then queen f8 is mate. Remember, that's protected by this wonderful bishop. If queen f7, hoping to trade pieces, then bishop f5 is a lovely move. Again, black is utterly lost here. So for example, if that's taken, then, well, obviously queen takes bishop. Once again, queen f8 is mate. Or if g6, trying to give the king a little bit of room, we take, and bishop b2, and again that is over very, very rapidly. So for example, d4, well, we'll play rook takes, and that maintains the attack of the bishop. And one last thing, if rook d8, then rook e7, hitting the queen, threatening this. It's all over. So in that position, black resigned. But that move, queen d1, that's the really difficult move to spot. And, well, wonderful finish from Carlsen. Okay, let me give you your next puzzle. So this was played in the Norwegian Championship. In 2005, Carlsen was 14 years old, and he's playing against a player called Ostmoe. Carlsen was already rated over 2,500, and he's stronger than his opponent. But let's see what he did. So it's a Queen's Indian, fairly typical Queen's Indian position, and Carlsen opened things up with e4. After these trades, that brings White's rook into the middle. And after bishop b7, well, of course, the orthodox move would be to just bring the rook back to one of these squares. But instead, Carlsen swings over to the king side, so he has aggressive intentions on the king side. Then bishop e7, and now the rook has to go back to h3. Now this is a very curious position for White's rook. So either White is going to deliver checkmate on the king side, or this rook is going to look really, really stupid. So this is kind of make or break chess from Carlsen. We don't often see him play like this, but clearly in his youth he was more adventurous. So now, well, I have to say Black's pieces look very well coordinated. Okay, let's see how Carlsen builds up. So he's swinging his pieces across to the king side. So if you're going to attack, if you're going to use that rook on h3, you better fling your pieces over. Now queen c2. Okay, things start to happen here. So obviously if that knight were dislodged, then queen h7 would be mate. But okay, let's see. Black is counter-attacking. Knight g4. So Carlsen trying to get rid of that knight in order to deliver mate here. h6, blocking that. Rook e5. Okay, things getting critical for Black. Queen f3, trying to stay active. Now, this next move from Carlsen, I think, is very obvious. He sacrificed his knight in order to break through to Black's king. Black king came up the board. Now, White still has a bit of work to do here, and I'm going to hand the position over to you. How would you play here if you had the white pieces? Now, I would say the first move is fairly obvious, but you need to do a bit of calculation afterwards. It's the follow-up that is crucial for White. So how did Carlsen play from this position over the next couple of moves? Over to you, and the solution will be in the next video.